In this video, I am going to be talking about 10 single-player games you can easily spend 100 plus hours in. So, let's get started. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. This game is like being sucked into an epic fantasy novel where every single choice you make has serious weight. Seriously, I remember starting it and thinking I'd just play for an hour or so. Next thing I know, it's 3 a.m. and I'm still trying to save a cursed village. It's a game that can easily eat up hundreds of hours of your life, and honestly, you'll be happy it did. And for the storyline, absolutely epic. The main quest alone is gripping, with twists and turns that keep you on the edge of your seat. But the side quests, oh man, they're so rich and detailed they could be main quests in other games. The world itself is just gorgeous. Everywhere you go, from the lush forests to the bustling cities, feels alive and meticulously crafted. The characters are another highlight. Geralt, Ciri, Yennefer, Triss, they're all so well developed with deep backstories and personal arcs that add layers to the game. One of the coolest parts is how your choices matter. You can't just breeze through this game without thinking your decisions will affect the world and its people, leading to multiple endings that make you want to play through it more than once. And let's not forget the monster hunting. Those contracts are like little puzzles requiring you to research and strategize before taking down some seriously tough beasts. But of course, no game is perfect. The Witcher 3 can feel a bit overwhelming at times, especially if you're a completionist. There's just so much to do. The combat system, while generally solid, can be a bit clunky, and managing your inventory can sometimes feel like a chore. Overall though, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is a game that sets the bar incredibly high for RPGs. It's an unforgettable journey with top-notch storytelling, an immersive world, and characters that stick with you long after you've put down the controller. Sure, it has its quirks, but what game doesn't? If you haven't played it yet, do yourself a favor and dive in. You won't regret it. Kingdom Come Deliverance. Alright, let's chat about Kingdom Come Deliverance. Picture this, you're Henry, a blacksmith's son thrust into the chaos of a medieval world that's as realistic as it gets. This game is like stepping into a time machine and landing smack dab in the middle of 1403 Bohemia. It's gritty, it's tough, and it doesn't hold your hand, which is both amazing and sometimes frustrating. First off, the realism is off the charts. The game's attention to historical detail is insane. The landscapes, the architecture, even the way people talk and behave, all of it feels authentic. You're not some chosen one with magical powers, you're just Henry, trying to make his way in a world that's often brutal and unforgiving. The story is compelling, starting with your village being attacked, and it pulls you into a narrative of revenge and survival that keeps you hooked. One of the standout features is the combat system. It's not your typical hack and slash, it's more like a dance where timing, position, and technique matter. It can be tough to get the hang of, but once you do, it's incredibly rewarding. And then there's the skill progression. Want to get better at something? You have to practice it, just like in real life. It adds a layer of depth that makes your growth feel earned. The world is open and alive, filled with side quests that are actually interesting and sometimes downright hilarious. And let's not forget the immersion. You have to eat, sleep, and keep your gear in good shape, which sounds tedious but actually makes you feel like you're living Henry's life. Now, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. The game had a pretty rocky launch with a bunch of bugs, though many of those have been ironed out. The realism, while awesome, can sometimes be a bit much, especially if you're not into micromanaging every aspect of your character's life. And the save system, oh boy, it can be a real pain. You can't just save anytime you want, which can lead to some frustrating moments. But despite its flaws, Kingdom Come Deliverance is a game that stands out for its ambition and dedication to realism. It's a breath of fresh air in the RPG genre, offering a deeply immersive experience that's hard to find elsewhere. If you're up for a challenge and want to lose yourself in a meticulously crafted medieval world, this game is definitely worth your time. Red Dead Redemption 2. If you've ever wanted to live out your Wild West fantasy, this is the game for you. You step into the boots of Arthur Morgan, an outlaw with a heart of gold, well, sometimes, and it's like you're living in a Western movie. The story is a roller coaster filled with betrayal, loyalty, and the harsh realities of life on the run. First off, the world is absolutely stunning. Rockstar Games really outdid themselves here. The level of detail is mind-blowing, from the bustling towns and cities to the serene, open wilderness. The weather changes, the wildlife acts realistically, and even the NPCs NPCs have their own daily routines. It's a living, breathing world that you can get lost in for hours just exploring, hunting, and taking in the scenery. The story is another highlight. Arthur Morgan is a complex character, and the narrative does a fantastic job of showing his struggles and growth. The missions are varied and often thrilling, whether you're pulling off a daring heist or just helping a stranger in need. The gameplay mechanics are solid too. The shooting and horseback riding feels satisfying, and there's a ton of stuff to do. You can go fishing, play poker, rob trains, or just sit around the campfire and chat with your fellow outlaws. The attention to detail in everything, from the way Arthur interacts with his environment to the realistic physics, adds to the immersion. Now, of course, there are a few downsides. The game moves at a slower pace, especially compared to other action games, which might not be everyone's cup of tea, but these are minor quibbles in the grand scheme of things. Red Dead Redemption 2 is a masterpiece of storytelling and world building. It's an epic adventure that draws you in and doesn't let go. If you've got a taste for the Wild West and a love for deep, immersive games, you owe it to yourself to play this one. It's an unforgettable experience that sets a new standard for open world games.
Have the time there?
Push! Come on, show me something. You better not drop it. You better not. Come on, you.
Don't take my baby.
baby.
No. Oh, God.
Be good, son. You big old nut. Get the hell out. Hellfire!
New to town? Haven't seen you. Yeah, okay.
Dragon Age Inquisition. Alright, let's dive into the world of Dragon Age Inquisition. Imagine you're thrust into the role of the Inquisitor, the person chosen to save the world of Thedas from a mysterious tear in the sky spewing demons everywhere. It's got all the classic fantasy elements, magic, dragons, epic battles, but with a depth and complexity that really draws you in. First off, the story is fantastic. You start off as an outsider, someone who unexpectedly becomes the leader of the Inquisition. Your mission: to seal the breach and stop the chaos. The narrative is packed with political intrigue, rich lore, and memorable characters. Seriously, the companions you pick up along the way, like Iron Bull, Dorian, and Cassandra, have their own backstories and personal quests that make them feel like real people. The dialogues and interactions are top-notch, thanks to the excellent writing and voice acting. The world itself is massive and stunning. You've got everything from lush forests and barren deserts to snowy mountains and creepy swamps. Each area feels unique and is filled with quests, collectibles, and hidden secrets. It's the kind of game where you can easily spend hours just exploring and getting lost in the beauty of it all. The combat system strikes a nice balance between tactical and action-packed. You can pause the action to issue commands to your party or dive right in and hack away at your enemies. It's flexible and satisfying whether you prefer strategy or a more hands-on approach. And let's not forget the character customization. You can tailor your Inquisitor's appearance, abilities, and even their moral choices, which influence how the story unfolds. However, it's not without its flaws. Some of the side quests can feel like busy work, more about collecting items or killing a certain number of enemies than advancing the story. The inventory management system can be a bit clunky and overwhelming, especially with the sheer amount of loot you gather. And while the main plot is engaging, it can sometimes feel like it gets bogged down in the middle with too many side activities. Despite these issues, Dragon Age Inquisition is a game that offers a deeply engaging experience with a rich story, complex characters, and a breathtaking world. If you're a fan of RPGs and love a good fantasy epic, this game is definitely worth diving into. You'll find yourself immersed in a world that's hard to leave, even after the credits roll.
Fighting. You'll see soon. We must help them. We're getting close to the rift. You can hear the fighting.
Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 is an absolute treat for any fan of classic RPGs and the Dungeons & Dragons universe. Developed by Larian Studios, the masterminds behind Divinity Original Sin 2, this game takes the rich lore of the Forgotten Realms and combines it with modern RPG mechanics to create an experience that's both nostalgic and fresh. From the moment you start, you're plunged into an epic tale involving mind flayers, powerful artifacts, and a mysterious parasite lodged in your brain. You create your own character or choose from a set of pre-made ones, each with their own backstory and unique abilities.
Busy streets. You try to hold them out.
The character creation is incredibly detailed, allowing you to customize everything from your appearance to your class and abilities. It's like creating your own DD character sheet, but with stunning graphics and animations. The world of Baldur's Gate 3 is beautifully crafted, with lush environments, dark dungeons, and bustling towns. The attention to detail is incredible, making every area feel alive and filled with secrets. The exploration is also deeply rewarding as you uncover hidden treasures, powerful items, and intricate side quests that add depth to the main story. The game encourages you to interact with the environment and think creatively, often rewarding unconventional approaches to problems. Combat in Baldur's Gate 3 is turn-based, staying true to its DD roots. It's strategic and challenging, requiring you to make good use of your party's abilities and the environment. You can push enemies off cliffs, use spells to control the battlefield, and set traps to gain the upper hand. The dice rolls add an element of unpredictability, making each encounter exciting and tense. And if you're a fan of multiplayer, the game supports co-op, allowing you to team up with friends for a true tabletop experience. The story and characters are another highlight. The narrative is rich and engaging, filled with twists, moral dilemmas, and impactful choices. The companions you meet along the way, each with their own distinct personalities and story arcs, add depth and variety to your journey. Your decisions shape the world and the relationships with your companions, leading to different outcomes and endings. However, Baldur's Gate 3 isn't without its rough edges. Some players might find the learning curve steep, especially if they're not familiar with DD mechanics. The game's complexity and depth can be overwhelming, but for those who love intricate RPGs, this is part of its charm. Despite these challenges, Baldur's Gate 3 is shaping up to be a phenomenal RPG that honors its legacy while bringing new innovations to the genre. It's a game that invites you to dive deep into its world, explore every nook and cranny, and shape your own story in the Forgotten Realms. If you're a fan of RPGs, Dungeons & Dragons, or just love a good story, Baldur's Gate 3 is a journey you won't want to miss.
Familiar squirming churns in your head. Useless. Your minds intertwine. You see his siblings, Andric and Brenna, new recruits. Yours to shepherd.
Protect them. She is a true soul. Mind her. She will. She.
You're a true soul. Edwin, our brother, he was chosen. Like you.
Persona 5. Persona 5 is an absolute gem that blends traditional JRPG mechanics with a unique, stylish flair that's hard to resist. You step into the shoes of a high school student living a double life as a phantom thief, exploring the metaverse to steal the hearts of corrupt adults. The game's distinct blend of everyday school life and fantastical dungeon crawling is executed brilliantly, making it an experience you won't soon forget. First off, the style in Persona 5 is off the charts. The game oozes with a vibrant, sleek aesthetic that grabs you from the moment you start. The menus, animations, and overall visual design are incredibly polished, giving the game a sense of personality that stands out. The soundtrack is another highlight, with catchy jazz-infused tunes that perfectly complement the game's stylish visuals and upbeat pace. The story is gripping, revolving around themes of rebellion, justice, and personal growth. You and your friends form the Phantom Thieves, a group dedicated to changing society by entering the cognitive worlds of corrupt individuals and making them confess their sins. The narrative is filled with twists and turns, and the character development is top-notch. Each member of your team has a deep personal story that unfolds as you progress, making you genuinely care about their journeys. Gameplay-wise, Persona 5 excels with its turn-based combat system and social simulation elements. The combat is strategic and engaging, requiring you to exploit enemy weaknesses and manage your party effectively. The ability to capture and fuse personas adds a layer of depth and customization that keeps battles interesting. Outside of combat, you spend your time building relationships, attending school, working part-time jobs, and participating in various activities. these social aspects are not just fluff, they directly impact your abilities in combat, making the balance between your daily life and your Phantom Thief activities crucial. One of the game's strengths is its pacing. The story is divided into distinct arcs, each focusing on a different antagonist, which helps keep things fresh and exciting. The dungeons, known as palaces, are intricately designed and themed around the psyche of each antagonist, providing a unique and memorable experience for each one.
Okay.
However, Persona 5 isn't without its flaws. The game can be quite lengthy, easily taking over 100 hours to complete, but hey, that's what all this video is about, so that's totally a plus point here, which might be daunting for some players. And the pacing, while generally good, can sometimes feel slow, especially during the early hours as the game sets up its complex narrative and mechanics. Also, the time management aspect can be a bit stressful, as you have limited time to balance all your activities. Despite these minor issues, Persona 5 is a masterpiece that offers a rich, immersive experience. Its blend of stylish presentation, deep storytelling, and engaging gameplay makes it a must-play for any JRPG fan. Whether you're stealing hearts in the metaverse or hanging out with friends in Tokyo, Persona 5 provides an unforgettable journey that keeps you hooked from start to finish.
All right.
All right, let's go.
Persona! Fuki! There!
Bloodborne. Bloodborne is a game that will test your mettle, but trust me, it's worth every drop of sweat and every scream of frustration. Set in the gothic, nightmarish city of Yarnam, you play as a hunter delving into the dark streets and twisted alleys filled with grotesque beasts and eldritch horrors. From Software, the masterminds behind Dark Souls, crafted this game, and it shows in every brutal encounter and hauntingly beautiful environment. First things first, the atmosphere in Bloodborne is absolutely incredible. The game's gothic horror aesthetic is brought to life with stunning detail. Yarnam is a place of perpetual night, drenched in shadows and mystery. The architecture, the eerie music, the oppressive sense of dread, it all combines to create a world that's as mesmerizing as it is terrifying. Each new area you discover feels distinct and meticulously crafted, pulling you deeper into the game's dark lore. The combat in Bloodborne is fast, aggressive, and incredibly rewarding. Unlike the methodical pacing of Dark Souls, Bloodborne encourages you to be on the offensive. Your main tools are trick weapons that can transform and adapt mid-fight, and a firearm in your offhand for parrying and creating openings. The combat system is fluid and intense, requiring quick reflexes and strategic thinking. When you finally take down a tough boss after numerous attempts, the sense of accomplishment is unparalleled. One of the standout features is the game's lore and storytelling. Bloodborne doesn't spoon-feed you the story. Instead, it's pieced together through cryptic dialogue, item descriptions, and environmental storytelling. This method of narrative delivery makes uncovering the game's mysteries feel like solving a complex puzzle, which is incredibly satisfying for those who love deep, intricate lore. However, it's not all smooth sailing. Bloodborne can be punishingly difficult, especially for newcomers to From Software's games. The learning curve is steep, and you'll die a lot. But each death teaches you something, making you better prepared for the next attempt. Also, the Chalice dungeons, while offering additional content and replayability, can feel a bit repetitive compared to the main game areas. Another issue is the game's performance. It was originally released on the PS4 and is locked at 30 FPS. Despite the time that has passed, we still haven't received a next-gen upgrade, which is really a bad thing for such an amazing game, but even so, I recommend playing the game at 30 FPS. After an hour or two of gameplay, you won't even notice the difference. And at the end, despite these challenges, Bloodborne is a masterpiece that stands out in the action RPG genre. Its blend of fast-paced combat, deep lore, and a hauntingly beautiful world makes it an unforgettable experience. If you're up for a challenge and love a good gothic horror story, Bloodborne is a game that will captivate and haunt you long after you've finished it. Days Gone. Days Gone is one of those games that grabs you with its gritty, post-apocalyptic world and doesn't let go. You play as Deacon St. John, a drifter and bounty hunter trying to survive in a world ravaged by a global pandemic that's turned millions into freakers, essentially fast, terrifying zombies. The game's setting, the Pacific Northwest, is both beautiful and haunting, with its dense forests, snowy mountains, and abandoned towns. The first thing that stands out about Days Gone is its open world. The game offers a vast and varied landscape that feels alive despite the desolation. The dynamic weather and day-night cycle not only look great but also affect gameplay. For instance, freakers are more aggressive and numerous at night, adding an extra layer of strategy to your planning. The world is filled with things to do, from clearing out freaker nests to helping survivors, and these activities are integrated well into the main narrative. The story of Days Gone is surprisingly deep and emotional. Deacon's journey is driven by his search for hope and meaning in a world gone mad. His relationship with his wife Sarah and his best friend, Boozer, adds emotional weight to the narrative. The game does a great job of fleshing out its characters, making you care about their fates. There are plenty of story-driven missions that keep you hooked, but it's the quieter moments of exploration and survival that really shine. Combat in Days Gone is intense and satisfying. You have a range of weapons at your disposal, from melee weapons like baseball bats to firearms and explosives. Crafting plays a crucial role, as you'll need to scavenge for materials to make Molotov cocktails, repair your weapons, and upgrade your bike. Speaking of the bike, it's practically a character in itself. Deacon's motorcycle is essential for getting around the map, and you'll need to maintain it, upgrade it, and ensure you have enough fuel, adding a realistic survival element to the game. One of the most thrilling aspects of Days Gone is dealing with the hordes of freakers. These aren't your typical zombies, they move fast and attack in large numbers. Facing a horde is a nerve-wracking experience that requires strategy and quick thinking. The game's AI does a great job of making these encounters feel unpredictable and dangerous. However, Days Gone isn't without its flaws. The game had a rocky launch with numerous bugs and performance issues, though many of these have been patched. The pacing can be uneven at times, with some missions feeling repetitive, and the world, while beautiful, can sometimes feel empty, and the side missions, though plentiful, can lack variety. Despite these issues, Days Gone is a game with a lot of heart. It's a raw, emotional journey through a beautifully rendered world that challenges you to survive against all odds. If you're a fan of open world games and enjoy a good post-apocalyptic story, Days Gone is definitely worth your time. Strap in, rev up your bike, and prepare to face the freaker-infested wilds.
Okay.
Elden Ring. Elden Ring is a game that takes the best elements of From Software's previous titles and elevates them to a whole new level. Set in a vast, open-world environment known as the Lands Between, this game is an epic, challenging journey that's sure to captivate and test your skills. The world of Elden Ring is breathtakingly expansive and richly detailed. Unlike the more linear paths of Dark Souls, Elden Ring offers a truly open world filled with towering castles, eerie forests, and mysterious ruins. The level of environmental storytelling is impressive, with each area feeling unique and packed with lore and secrets waiting to be discovered. The game encourages exploration, rewarding players with hidden treasures, powerful gear, and bits of story that add depth to the overarching narrative. The combat in Elden Ring is as challenging and rewarding as you'd expect from a From Software game. It retains the precise, methodical approach that fans love, but it's more fluid and dynamic. You have a range of weapons, spells, and abilities at your disposal, allowing for a variety of playstyles. The new additions, such as mounted combat and a jump button, add layers of strategy and make the combat feel fresh and exciting. Boss battles also are intense and memorable, each requiring you to learn patterns and develop tactics to emerge victorious. Character customization is another highlight. You can tailor your character's appearance, stats, and equipment to suit your preferred playstyle. Whether you want to be a nimble rogue, a hulking warrior, or a powerful mage, Elden Ring provides the tools to create a character that feels uniquely yours. The RPG elements are deep and engaging, with a wide array of skills and abilities to unlock as you progress. The story, shaped by Miyazaki's dark, intricate world building and Martin's rich storytelling, is both complex and intriguing. It's delivered in a way that fans of From Software's games will appreciate, with lore scattered throughout the world in item descriptions, environmental cues, and cryptic NPC dialogues. The narrative is filled with mystery and invites players to piece together the larger picture as they explore the Lands Between. However, Elden Ring is not without its challenges. The game's difficulty can be daunting, especially for newcomers to the genre. It requires patience, perseverance, and a willingness to learn from your mistakes. The open world, while stunning, can sometimes feel overwhelming due to its sheer size and the number of things to do. There are also moments where the game's direction might feel unclear, leaving you to figure out where to go next on your own. Despite these hurdles, Elden Ring is a masterpiece of game design and storytelling. It offers a rich, immersive experience that rewards exploration, strategy, and skill. If you're a fan of challenging RPGs with deep lore and a beautifully crafted world, Elden Ring is a journey you won't want to miss. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice is a game that stands out even among From Software's impressive lineup of challenging titles. It takes the brutal difficulty and intricate design of the Soulsborne series and infuses it with a unique blend of stealth, precision combat, and a deeply immersive story. You play as Wolf, a shinobi on a quest to rescue his kidnapped lord and seek vengeance on his enemies in a beautifully realized version of Sengoku-era Japan. One of the first things you'll notice about Sekiro is its stunning visuals. The game's environments are richly detailed and beautifully crafted, from the serene temples and bamboo forests to the war-torn castles and eerie caverns. The world feels alive and authentic, with every location telling a story and adding to the overall atmosphere. The art direction captures the essence of feudal Japan, while adding a layer of dark fantasy that From Software is known for. The combat in Sekiro is a major departure from the Soulsborne formula. Instead of focusing on stamina management and heavy armor, Sekiro emphasizes precision, timing, and parrying. The posture system is central to combat, where breaking your enemy's posture is key to delivering fatal blows. This system rewards aggressive play and mastery of the parry mechanic, making each encounter feel intense and rewarding. The combat is fast-paced and fluid, demanding quick reflexes and strategic thinking. Another standout feature is the grappling hook, which adds a vertical dimension to exploration and combat. It allows you to traverse the environment with agility, reach hidden areas, and gain tactical advantages over your enemies. This mechanic, combined with stealth elements, gives you multiple ways to approach challenges, whether you prefer sneaking past foes or confronting them head-on. Sekiro's story is more direct and character-driven than previous From Software games. You follow Wolf's journey of loyalty and redemption with a narrative that's deeply personal and emotionally engaging. The characters you meet, from allies to antagonists, are well-developed and memorable. The game's lore is still rich and deep, but it's presented in a way that's more accessible, making it easier to get invested in the story. However, Sekiro is incredibly challenging even by From Software standards. The learning curve is steep, and the game requires a high level of precision and patience. Boss fights in particular are demanding and often require multiple attempts to learn their patterns and weaknesses. The game doesn't offer the option to grind for experience points or upgrade stats, so your success relies entirely on your skill and mastery of the mechanics. Despite its difficulty, Sekiro Shadows Die twice is a rewarding and unforgettable experience. It's a game that challenges you to improve, to adapt, and to persevere. The sense of accomplishment you feel after defeating a tough boss or mastering a new technique is unparalleled. If you're a fan of challenging action games and appreciate a well-crafted story and setting, Sekiro is a must-play. Embrace the challenge, sharpen your blade, and prepare to carve your path to victory in this brutal yet beautiful world. Well everyone, that was all for this video. It really takes a lot of time and efforts to create these, so please make sure to subscribe because I really want to hit that juicy 1,000 subscribers mark. Make sure you don't forget and do it. Now I will see you in the next video. Have a good day. Bye bye and see ya later.